All right. A very warm welcome to all of you, and I welcome you back to the last lecture on the in the course of heat transfer for chemical engineers. And today we'll be trying to solve previous year gate problems on the topic of evaporators. Uh, all right. So straight away starting off with the questions, and then we'll have some closing remarks and future plan and all at the end. So the first one is the 2021 gate question, which was asked for 2 marks with a penalty of minus 0.67, and the question reads as follows. A double effect evaporator is used to concentrate a solution, and steam is sent to the first effect at 110 degrees Celsius. The boiling point of the solution in the second effect is this 63.3. The overall heat transfer coefficients in the first effect and second effect are given, and they have asked you uh, the temperature at which the solution boils in the first effect. They have asked you the temperature at which the solution boils in the first effect, rounded off to nearest integer. That means you need to plug off the answer like 81, 82, 83, something like that. All right. And what are the conditions that you have given you? Some hints to simplify the problem. So first one is to neglect the boiling point elevation, which is given over here. BP has to be neglected, and the solution is coming at a saturated temperature, so Cp delta T has to be neglected. That is the hint. And second most important condition that they have given you is this. All right, let me highlight it in blue, which says that heat flux in the two evaporators can be assumed to be equal. Mind you, the phrase over here is heat flux, meaning that Q by A is same. All right. So what we usually use is Q is equal to UA times delta T, and they have given that QA is same for both the effects, and based on it you need to do the calculation. So this was the explanation for the question, and now I will be explaining the solution. Before that, please pause the video and try to solve it yourself and let me know your answers. Alright. So to proceed further, we have to use this main hint that is given in the question, or rather the condition that is given in the question, which says heat flux is constant. So that implies Q1 by A1 is equals Q2 by A2. So what we are left with is U1 del T1 is equal to U2 del T2. How del T1 and del T2 are taken in a multiple effect evaporator is something which I have discussed in the last lecture. You can refer to that. U1 and U2 values are directly given to us. So U1 is 2000, alright, and del T1 will be 110, which is the steam temperature, minus the boiling temperature of the solution, which we need to find out. So I'll just put it as T. This is equal to the overall heat transfer coefficient in the second effect, which is 1500, times the delta T, which is going to be T minus 63.3, because the vapors from the first effect would be going in as the steam for the second effect, so the temperature will be same. All right. So simply rearrange and try to find out the value of T, which comes out to be around 89.9, and you are asked to round it off to the nearest integer and write it. So the answer will be 90. The nearest integer is 90, so answer will be 90 degrees Celsius. And in the exam you are expected to write the answer in the integer form, like 90 was expected to be entered. So be very careful about what they write in this particular bracket for numerical type questions. All right. With this, moving to the next question, question 2 of today's discussion, which came in GATE 2020 exam. Again, this is a question on multiple effect evaporators, and it says an aqueous suspension at a temperature of 60 degrees Celsius is fed to the first effect of a double effect forward feed evaporator, and its flow rate has been given in mass per time. the sum of the rates of water evaporated from the first effect and second effects are given. Temperatures, exit temperatures from both the effects are given. Specific heat values and latent heat values given, and you are asked to calculate the steam economy. So uh, basically what you need to do is you need to draw the block diagram or the flow sheet and apply mass balances and energy balances over it. So feel free to pause the video over here, and I will be discussing the solution now. Okay, so I'll just slowly start explaining the solution by the time you are solving. So I'm just trying to make the diagram, so you guys keep on solving it. I'm just making the diagram. So we'll have two evaporators connected in the feed forward type. So maybe this is evaporator 1 with steam coming in, so a lot of steam, and it is getting condensed out, and and the flow rate would be seen. Vapors would go out from this particular evaporator, and these would be fed as the steam to the second evaporator, which will be looking like this. Right, the concentrate on this would be fed over here, getting out through here, and this is the feed. Flow rate is given to us to be 1.25 kgs per second. Right. What we are asked to find out is steam economy, which is essentially the amount of vapors that has been evaporated per kg of steam. So let me say this to be V1, this to be V2. So we are asked to can find out V1 plus V2 over Ms is equal to in the question. All right. Alright, so we have been given that the feed is at the rate of 1.25 kg per second, which I have written it on the figure. I am assuming that ms is the mass of the steam. Alright, now ms will get condensed, and it will go out from here with the red arrow that I am drawing. Right, so ms comes in and ms goes out. Alright, of 1.25 kgs, v1 goes into vapor or is evaporated, v1 kgs of water, and I prefer to call it as product 1, p1, or some of you prefer it as liquid, vapor and liquid. So p1 or l1. So 1.25 kg is now getting split into two streams, v1 and l1. So you can have a material balance over it, like 1.25 is equal to v1 plus l1. I don't want to do it right now. Alright, now this liquid l1 or p1 is the feed for the second evaporator. Alright, and this l1 now equals v2 plus v1, sorry, is now equal to v2 plus l2. Alright, so we can just write out the balances. So it can look like 1.25 is equal to v1 plus l1, and l1 equals v2 plus l2. We'll have balances like this. Alright, and yeah, and the vapor that is generated in the first effect is used as the steam in the second effect. So that would be v1 and coming in the stream side and V1 going out, which I'm trying to draw with the red arrows right now. All right, so this is all about the mass balance. So I would prefer to start it in this way, like consider the whole evaporator as one unit and try to find out the mass balances. All right, with respect to the feed, like 1.25 kg feed I, and finally उसमें से V1 plus V2 पानी निकल गया and L2 concentrated product निकला, right? So this has, so 1.25 is equal to V2 plus V1 plus L2. All right, and I have been given that the sum of rates of waters evaporated from the first and second effect is 1 kg. So V1 plus V2 is already given to me, and I can straight away write the value of this to be 0.25. All right, I hope everyone is clear with this particular thing. And from this I can straight away get a value of L2 or P2, whatever you prefer to call. Now what I need to do is I need to apply energy balances on evaporator 1 and 2 separately. Okay, so energy balance on 1. All right, what would it be? The amount of heat that the steam gives is equal to the amount of heat that is received by the feed, right? So as we had discussed it in the previous class, I would like to draw it over here again. All right, so you have the feed at 1.25 kg per second. All right, and what was your feed temperature? 60 degrees Celsius. All right, and it was getting boiled at 100 degrees Celsius. So you heat this all feed to 100 degrees Celsius, and then you try to provide the lambda value to V1, and you have your product L1, right? This is the scheme that we had decided. So basically the heat that is required would be 1.25 times 4 mcp delta T, which would be 100 minus 60, plus mass of the feed, which is 1.25 minus 1.25 minus L1 into lambda, correct, which is 2200, and this has to be equal to the Q, and this Q is equal to mass of steam times lambda, which is 2200. All right, so this is the basic material balance that you will be getting. Now let me just write out the same material balance on our sheet right there. So the energy balance on 1 is now giving me that 2200 times ms is equal to 1.25 this into 40 plus V2 into 100. Right, and now what you need to do is you now try to write down the energy balance on second evaporator. Okay, so energy balance on your evaporator 2. Okay, so H is 1.25. Energy balance on second evaporator. So again here it would be V1 times 2200 is equal to L1 times 4 into what is the boiling temperature of the second effect? It is 60, so it will be again 100 minus 6, it will be 60 minus 100 over here, because the feed was at 100 and now it is boiling at 60, so it is also providing a heat in a way. So this has to be minus of 40 over here, plus, okay, here it has to be V1, I'm sorry, here it has to be V2 times 2200. All right, now we know we have we have three variables, okay, ms, v1, v2, and we have three equations with us. V1 plus v2 is equal to 1, and this two equations. Now use any suitable way to solve it. Okay, I'm leaving it up to you all. You can use a smart way to solve it, or you can have three equations, make a matrix and solve it. Anything is fine. Basically 3 variables and 3 expressions is all that you need to do. The third expression will be or what I would suggest is use this expression, a smart way that I want to present. Alright, use this expression, shift it on the other side. What you get is v1 minus v2 over 2200 is equal to L1 plus this. Now try to put L1 in using this, so you get a expression that then v1 plus v2, and just try to put that expression of v1 in the other and solve, and this is how you need to do. So I'm not going much deep into the solving part. Okay, and the answer comes out to be 1.8, around 1.8, or to be specific 1.78. 1.78 for this. Okay, and this is how you have to solve it. So basically you get v1 plus v2 by ms to be 1.78, because the idea is that you calculate the value of ms and take the inverse of it. So ms value will come out to be 0.563, and you just have to take the inverse of it, because v1 plus v2 is already given to be 1. And I hope with this you should be able to solve it. I'm not teaching anyone the ways to solve the equations, because that thing you can do it smartly. Just see it whichever way you feel you're comfortable with, you can go for it. I don't want to endorse a particular way, but try to use the most smartest way to do it. So the most smartest way is to just calculate the value of ms, and to calculate ms I need v1 over here. To calculate v1 I have these equations, so just use it and try to get it. All right, so we'll now move to the next question in that came
Hello,
in
sir.
gate. Yes, I.
Sir, when L1 is entering to the evaporator 2, its temperature is 100, na, sir?
Yes.
Sir, when L2 is leaving the evaporator 2, its temperature is 60.
Yes.
Sir, I mean to say here here is heat loss, na, sir?
No, this what we say is, okay. It's a nice question, Sai. Okay. So let me just draw the evaporator again. Right. So let me say this is the stream that is coming in. This is the steam that is going out. Right. This is the feed that is coming in. It is now. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do it again. Yeah, this is good. Okay, so this is referring to steam. Okay, so this is steam. All right. The feed going out in two terms: vapor, product or liquid, and feed. So I'm talking about a particular system. All right. We'll now say that your feed is at a higher temperature. Okay, so what happens is, uh, let's say your feed here was at 100 degrees Celsius. The product now is living at 60 degrees Celsius. The vapors also are living at 60 degrees Celsius. Alright, what I do is, in this particular case, what is actually happening in that problem, so here it was not feed, it was I guess L1, right? It was L1. Okay, so what is actually happening is its pressure is getting decreased. Okay, from obviously the first evaporator would be at higher pressure, second would be at lower pressure. So as soon as this particular stream enters at a higher temperature, it is basically like a superheated thing. So it will try to reduce the amount of steam because it will itself give away some energy. So लिक्विड 100 पे आ रहा है, 60 पे जा रहा है, तो एनर्जी बैलेंस में आई विल बी राइटिंग इट एज 60 minus 100. दैट्स व्हाई आई हैड introduced the term of -40 over there. All right, so mass of it, so this particular thing, mass of L1 will give away the heat. So basically how I can write this diagram is as follows. So I have this complete L1 at 100 degrees Celsius. I cool it down to 60, and then 60 is basically the boiling point at that particular pressure, and then from here I try to provide the lambda value for the evaporation, and I get the final concentrated product. DUCT, final product. Alright, now in this whole process, whatever the Q was, net Q, the Q net जो भी था, that was provided by steam. Alright, so here अगर net Q 0 आ रहा है तो that is fine. It's like I have a water at 90 degrees Celsius, okay, and now I am just reducing its pressure. So what is happening is the water is getting cooled, and at the same time it is getting evaporated. Alright, so and here I have a very huge amount of water. I am trying to reduce the pressure and I want to evaporate it more, so I am further providing some energy to evaporate it. I guess this is a very hard thing to understand, whatever I said last time at the last sentence, but let me put it in okay, first things first, give me a moment, let me think of a simpler analogy to explain. Okay, we'll go it this way only. Okay, okay, we'll go it with this only. Alright, but the thing is, if I do, okay, so Sai, I have water at 90 degrees Celsius, okay, and now I am reducing its pressure. So reducing the pressure is implying that the Psat value is also getting down because it depends on the total pressure, and its boiling temperature, and I have reduced it to a such extent that the water can now boil at 70 degrees Celsius. Alright, so what do you think will happen to that water? Will it get converted into vapors? Yes, anyone? Let me start it from here. Let me just have a new slide. Say I have water at 90 degrees Celsius, 1 atmosphere. I now reduce the pressure such that the new boiling point is 70 degrees Celsius. Alright, now what will happen to the water? Will it evaporate fully, partially, or what? Say I had over here, say 3 kgs of water. Okay, what will happen to it? What would be my final product? Yes, 1, 2 or 3, what do you think? Yes, anyone?
Sir, I think
Yes, sir.
I think it's option.
You are thinking it to be option 2. All right.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else would like to? So Sai, yeah, you are thinking it to be two. Two. Even I don't know the answer, right? So the answer would be very much simple to find out. So basically, I have some excess heat in the water, which is typically 3 kg times the CP value, which is 4 into 20. All right, which is equal to 160 into 3, which is equal to roughly 480 kilojoules of energy, right? And let's say the lambda is around 2200 kilojoules, as it was in this problem, for water to liquid, for water in the liquid state to go into the vapor state. So this 480 kilojoules of the energy I have, and 220 kilojoule per kg is the latent heat. So basically around 0.25 kg of the water will get evaporated. So I will have around 0.25 kgs of vapors and 2.75 kgs of the liquid. All right. Because yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
The idea is as follows. All right. We know कि जब हमने इसका प्रेशर डिक्रीज किया है सच दैट द बॉइलिंग पॉइंट हैज रिड्यूस्ड, हमने इसका प्रेशर डिक्रीज किया है, बॉइलिंग पॉइंट हैज रिड्यूस्ड, वाटर कैन नो लॉन्गर स्टे एट 90 डिग्री सेल्सियस. वी वांट टू फाइंड आउट कि वो किस टेम्परेचर पे स्टे करेगा. ऑल राइट. तो उसके लिए हम क्या करेंगे, हम एक्सटर्नली तो कोई एनर्जी दे नहीं रहे. तो व्हाट आई स्टार्ट थिंकिंग और व्हाट वी स्टार्ट डूइंग इज, ऑल राइट, सो हम लोग डब्बे बनाने लग जाते कि मेरे पास 90 डिग्री का वाटर है, मैं उसको 70 तक ले आता हूँ सबसे पहले. ऑल राइट, मैं उसको 70 तक ले आता हूँ तो मेरे पास कितनी एक्सेस एनर्जी बचती है, इतनी एक्सेस एनर्जी बचती है, एम सी पी डेल्टा टी. क्या लिख दिया मैंने, एक सेकेंड ना, एम सी पी डेल्टा टी, मेरे पास इतनी एनर्जी बच जाती है एम सी पी डेल्टा टी. करेक्ट. तो वो कितनी आ रही है, 480 किलो जूल्स. अब मेरे पास है 70 डिग्री सेल्सियस पे 3 kg वाटर. ऑल राइट. एंड नाउ आई हैव दिस अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी, ये 480 किलो जूल्स एक्सेस एनर्जी. तो ये एनर्जी क्या करेगी, दिस विल ट्राई टू कन्वर्ट दैट वाटर इनटू वेपर स्टेट. ओके, कैसे सोच सकते हैं, तो हम इसको ऐसे भी सोच सकते हैं. लेट्स से बॉइलिंग पॉइंट ऑफ वाटर इज 100 डिग्री सेल्सियस एंड आई हैव अ बीकर which is filled with water at 25 डिग्री सेल्सियस and now I start providing energy. तो वो क्या करेगा, पानी को 25 से 30, 35, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 डिग्री तक हीट करेगा. इट विल बी इन वाटर. आई स्टिल ट्राई टू कीप ऑन प्रोवाइडिंग इट द एनर्जी. मैं एनर्जी देते जा रहा हूँ. फिर क्या होगा, वो उस वाटर को लेटेंट एनर्जी के बराबर जितना मिलेगा वो उसको उस हिसाब से इवॉपरेट करने लग जाएगा एंड आई विल बी स्टार्ट सीइंग वेपर्स बीइंग फॉर्म. करेक्ट. तो वही यहाँ पे भी हो रहा है. तो मेरे पास कितनी एनर्जी है, 480 किलो जूल्स. लैम्बडा कितना है, लेट्स से 2200 और 2000 मान लो. तो 2000 बाय 500 कितना हो गया, 500 बाय 2000 कितना हो गया, 1.1/4. सो अराउंड 0.25 kgs वाटर को वो इवॉपरेट कर देगा. सो उस लैम्बडा के साथ 0.25 kg वेपर में बन जाएगा और बचा हुआ क्या होगा, बचा हुआ 2 जो भी था 75 वो लिक्विड में रह जाएगा. सो आई गेट दिस एंड दिस. अब मान लो यही मेरे पास इतना कम हो जाता कि बॉइलिंग पॉइंट 40 हो गया, मैंने प्रेशर इतना कम कर दिया कि बॉइलिंग पॉइंट से 40 हो गया है और या फिर 20 डिग्री हो गया है, समथिंग क्रेजी वी आर डूइंग. बहुत ही मैंने उसका प्रेशर घटा दिया है सच दैट ये एक्सेस एनर्जी जो है वो अब मे बी आई हैव रिड्यूस्ड इट सो डाउन कि एक्सेस एनर्जी इज अराउंड 6600 kilojoules and lambda is this. What will happen, I will just get this. all right, now I did something more crazy. all right, मैं इसको इतना नीचे लेके गया कि एनर्जी 6800 होगी विच इज वे मोर देन द एम एस लैम्डा. तो क्या होगा, वो स्टीम को सुपर हीट कर देगी. इट विल फर्स्ट कन्वर्ट एवरीथिंग इनटू स्टीम. 3 kg का स्टीम बन जाएगा उसके बाद भी मेरे पास 200 किलो जूल एनर्जी बची है. सो दिस विल बी यूटिलाइज्ड to heat the temperature of the steam. So you then have to apply m cp steam delta t, and based on it you need to estimate the temperature rise. So maybe ये जब मैंने 68 बेसिकली मैंने ऐसे टेम्परेचर तक रिड्यूस किया कि उसका बॉइलिंग पॉइंट वॉज से 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस से मैंने उसको प्रेशर इतना रिड्यूस किया कि बॉइलिंग पॉइंट से 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस हुआ, एंड आई गॉट दिस मच अमाउंट ऑफ एक्सेस हीट 6800. ऑल राइट, उसमें से 6600 एनर्जी से मेरा पूरा स्टीम बन गया. ऑल राइट, फिर भी 200 किलो जूल बचा, एंड लेट्स से सी पी ऑफ स्टीम इज़ 1, और लेट्स से सी पी ऑफ स्टीम इज़ से 2. ओके, मास was 6, so 200/6, so 30 डिग्री से उसका टेम्परेचर बढ़ाएगा, एंड व्हाट आई विल हैव एज द फाइनल प्रोडक्ट इज सुपर हीटेड स्टीम at 50 डिग्री सेल्सियस एंड at pressure. Note that this pressure will be very 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 low. This can be of the order of 10 kPa or something, जबकि atmospheric pressure is 110. So you have a steam at 10 kPa of 50 degree Celsius. 10 kPa का मे बी उसका जो भी saturation temperature था वो उससे 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस था मे बी. दिस इज़ ऑल रफ. ओके, ये रफ है, एस्टिमेटेड है, ये कोई ट्रू वैल्यूज नहीं. आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू मेक अ केस कि ये कैसे होता है. ऑल राइट, इज दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग क्लियर कि ये बेसिकली थर्मोडाइनमिक्स में आपको बताया जाता है एनर्जी ट्रांसफ़र का, कि एक्सेस एनर्जीज को कैसे यूज़ होता है एंड ऑल. आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू पुट इट इन अ वेरी न्यू पर्सपेक्टिव ताकि वो समझ में आ जाए. Yes, Sai, Kaushik, Rutuja, are you guys
Sir,
able
got
to
it.
understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now in this particular question, that's why over here I used the sign -40, जबकि इधर साइन क्या था +40. राइट, -40 क्यों? क्योंकि वो जब यहाँ से यहाँ जाएगा तो वो बेसिकली स्टीम रिक्वायरमेंट्स को कम करने के लिए जा रहा है ना. यहाँ पे कुछ चीज़ सब्सट्रैक्ट हो रही तो वो स्टीम रिक्वायरमेंट कम कर रहा है ना. राइट, ऑल राइट. सो विद द सेम स्पिरिट कीप योरसेल्व्स अनम्यूटेड फॉर द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. आई वांट यू गाइस टू आंसर इट इन अ सेकेंड. ओके, क्योंकि वो बहुत ही ईजी क्वेश्चन है, इसके आगे की 3-4 क्वेश्चंस. ऑल राइट, सो कीप योरसेल्फ अनम्यूटेड एंड लेट्स गो टू गेट 2018 क्वेश्चन which reads as what is the definition of economy of evaporators. Yes, anyone?
Option C, sir.
Great, very good, very good. सीधे सीधे डेफिनेशन पूछ लिया था एक नंबर के लिए गेट 2018 में. इट इज kg of water vaporized per kg of steam supplied. All right, with the same spirit, let's move to the next question asked in 2014. Again on steam economy, but here it is for multiple effect evaporators. So what is the definition of steam economy in multiple effect evaporators? Yes, anyone? This
Sir,
time maybe,
option D.
yeah, maybe, okay, great,
B.
great. Yes, so in multiple effect evaporators we add steam only to one effect, that is the first effect, and in the subsequent effects we use the steam vapors generated from the previous effect as the steam. So it is the total amount of water vaporized in all effects divided by the steam or per each kilogram of steam in the first effect. All right, now we have a numerical to solve which came in 2004. Trust me, only the 2020 question was a tedious one which involved lot of calculations. This question is pretty much simpler and is a very straightforward question. So it says that you need to concentrate a solution from 20% to 30% in an evaporator. Feed conditions are given, boiling point is given, latent heat is given, and you need to find out the rate at which the heat is supplied. So basically you are expected to calculate the Q, which is equal to ms lambda s, which is equal to the heat that has to be given to the solution for concentration. All right, now I'll be discussing the solution. Feel free to pause the video here and try to solve it yourself. Okay, so most of you have found out the correct answer as the A option, and in this particular question, uh, okay, let me draw the figure again here nicely. This is our evaporator. This is the steam that comes in, goes out. I'll use the steam MS. This is the feed, which is going into vapors and liquid or product, whatever you feel like. All right. So we basically know that feed is equal to liquid plus vapors. Uh, Temperature of the liquid, this is exiting at 110 degrees Celsius, and this is entering at 30 degrees Celsius at 300 kg per minute. Alright, you need to concentrate it from 20% to 30%. So here you have 20% means 60 kg solids, and 300 is a 240 kg H2O. Just correct me if I am wrong, right? Of which 100 kgs have to go over here, so that 30%, 60 kg has to be 30%, so the final product will be 200 kg over here. So I'm just using that. This is 200 kg, of which 60 kg will be solids, remaining 140 kg will be H2. So basically this is just the material balance that I do in a very different style. You can have your own styles to do it, but I find this very much logical. So 60 kg, what 30% of what will be 60, so 30% of 200 will be 60. So basically I just get the value 200. So this is 60, rest is 140. This was total was 240 minus 140, 100. That's it. I have now cleared the complete material balance thing. What I need to calculate is the amount of energy required. So again, the same analogy that we had discussed previously also, 300 times mcp delta T. Alright, so what will be delta T? It will be 110 minus 30 plus what is the amount that is getting vaporized, 100 kg, times what is the latent heat, 2100, right? So this is what you need to calculate, Q, and this comes out to be 3.06 into 10 raised to the power 5 kilojoule per minute, and this is in the particular unit that you were asked in, and hence the answer is A. Alright, with the same spirit, let's move on to next question. Before going to the next question, what I would like you to understand is कि GATE में ज़्यादा frequently इसके ऊपर questions नहीं है, but apart from GATE you will be giving out many other exams also, like your placement के technical interviews. You can also go for some private PSU exams, like ISRO has its own exam, DRDO takes its own exam for the selection, BARC takes its own exam, SAIL has its own exams to take, RCF अपनी खुद की एग्ज़ाम लेता है for the placement. तो उन एग्ज़ाम्स में भी इसके ऊपर बहुत सवाल पूछे जाते हैं, एंड एज अ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ दोज क्वेश्चंस, कैसे उधर के क्वेश्चंस भी सिमिलर होते हैं, द नेक्स्ट टू क्वेश्चंस आर डेडिकेटेड टू दोज. दे आर फ्रॉम इसरो क्वेश्चन पेपर, बट मोर और लेस इसी टाइप के क्वेश्चंस आपको बाकी एग्जाम्स में भी दिखेंगे. आई बिकॉज ऑफ कॉपीराइट थिंग आई कुड नॉट copy and paste the questions over here, but we can always discuss it sometime later, or I can just post you those questions in the form of PDF. I'll put the link in the description. Alright, so keep yourself unmuted, and here we go to the first question that comes in the other private exam. This is from ISRO 2018, and the question reads as follows. So for evaporation of viscous liquids, high rate of heat transfer can be obtained using. So this is basically on the first lecture, the theoretical lecture that we discussed. So 4 different types of 3 evaporators are given to you, and you are asked which one will give you high rate of heat transfer, or which should be used for viscous liquids. Yes, anyone? I'll just stick to the okay, yeah, so I'll just stick to the logic that I had explained in the first lecture as well. All right, so basically in all these questions we are always targeted or concerned about H, right? And uh, now when it comes to high viscosity, all right, this H is convective thing, so the convection part, if taken care by the gravity, won't be that strong as compared to the forced thing, right? Once we go for a forced kind of system, it will introduce more turbulence, or that more turbulence will in a way affect in increasing the edge, and this is the best way to actually go for increasing the edge. So the answer is forced circulation evaporator. And basically forced circulation evaporators or FCEs are used for viscous liquids, and in the advantages of FCE slide I have already mentioned this point specifically. So a direct question on this was asked in 2018 GATE examination, and yeah, what Sai said is also correct, but this is the more logical explanation behind it. All right, let's move to the next question. This question is again very simple. uh, Anyone would like to answer? So it is about amount of water evaporated per unit weight of steam fed is known as. So basically it's a definition of something.
Economy.
Yeah, exactly, very good. So basically it's a definition of economy, and they were just examining if you know it or not. And such type of theory questions can also come. So the idea of having these two questions was that in the GATE exam they rarely ask such definition based questions. They did ask in 2 or 3 GATE exams like this, but they just tried to mix the things up. Instead of simply asking you what is the definition of economy, they said for a sugarcane juice which is getting concentrated, what is the definition of economy, something like that. They just tried to twist the things up. Here they just instead of going for the simple definition of economy, they asked you particularly what is economy or how is economy calculated in a case of multiple effect evaporators. And uh, similarly in the other private exams, they will, or your placement exams, they will go for simple theoretical questions like this. All right, so coming with this, I will be concluding this particular topic with some of my remarks. So basically two types of questions are asked, either numericals or theory. In the numericals as such you don't require some high fundu things to do. It simply revolves around applying material and energy balances, and apart from that you just need to know q is equal to UA delta T, or basically the Newton's law of cooling. All right, and apart from it, the second type of numericals that I have seen, which are very straightforward and which are asked in your placement exams for Reliance and all, they simply say if the cost for building a single effect evaporator was C, what would be the cost for building an N effect evaporator? So the answer will be N times or NC, something like that. Then they can ask if I go from single effect to a 3 effect evaporator, the steam economy would increase by, the answer will be 3C or roughly 3 times, something like that. So for the and they can just build some small numerical on it. All right, and the second type of questions, the theory based questions, will be more focused on this. What are the various type of evaporators, where they are applicable, advantage, disadvantage. And I can give you a small preparation hint. So if you are targeting so if you are sitting for an interview of industry that is doing food processing, all right, so before going for the interview and exam, simply go and see what type of evaporators are used in a food processing plant. So basically all the questions would be revolved around it. All right, and yeah, they can ask you questions on the basic terminologies as well, like what is economy and capacity, something like that, and they have been doing it very frequently. So knowing these 3 points, or focusing on these 3 points in theory, and knowing the concept of applying material and energy balances, which you have already done in your course for chemical process calculation, is sufficient to answer any question that comes from this particular topic, and you can surely ace any of the exam that you are giving. All right, with this we come to an end of the course for heat transfer for chemical engineers. So formally the teaching part is completed over here. I will be having some more modules like preparation strategy, or solving strategy, problem solving strategy, targeted towards various subtopics of this particular course, or some specific sessions related to interviews, some specific session related to answering what I can say, placement tests and so on and so forth. But there won't be any further what I can say, full-fledged class wherein we are discussing theory and problems etc. on the heat transfer. And very soon we'll start off with the new course on mass transfer for chemical engineers, targeted for gate preparation. With this, I thank you all for attending this particular lecture series, and please let me know your reviews in the comment section. Also, I will try to put a anonymous Google form wherein you can give me your feedback. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.